So first of all, today I'll be presenting my paper on hyperparameter tuning. Oh, hyperparameter tuning and deep neural network learning. So first of all, one of the major tasks in constructing effective neural networks is the challenge of tuning hyperparameters. And many parameters exist that define a neural network. So examples include like the number of layers, the number of nodes within a layer, algorithms between layers, and the overall algorithm used in a network. There's also like epochs, batches, folds, etc., and many more depending on the model. And so a large number of these type of parameters and their variability makes it difficult to model the data accurately. Oftentimes, unique qualities in datasets will also affect the neural network's configuration. So now having established this, I'd like to introduce genetic algorithms or GAs, which are algorithms that use principles from like evolutionary biology to mimic natural processes and estimate solutions. So GAs are constructed by using a population that mutates and mates every generation and runs for like multiple generations. Through this, we can enable optimization, and this occurs when selecting the best samples within a population and mating them with other parts of the population in order to create a new population for each concurrent generation. And as this process continues, we move towards the optimum, which is defined in biology by fitness. But in terms of like neural networks, this means optimizing the accuracy and learning rate of the network. So into related works. So for like previous research has realized mixed results, and that while some researchers have noticed positive results, like Fernando in particular, making use of a GA to enhance the topology of a CNN to reconstruct images. Others have found that using GAs was actually a waste of time and worse accuracy. So since GAs have been determined to be computationally expensive because they have to run like multiple generations, they've usually yielded positive results that can be further explored in different applications and such. So since we have seen some mixed results, like while some researchers have positive ones, others have found it was worse. We can see that as a result, the following research problem can be explored, so that using a CNN and 3 different datasets, how a simple genetic algorithm can be used to generate better results in a reasonable time frame. So here in this paper, a reasonable time frame was determined to be under 30 minutes, and the parameters explored were batch size, number of layers, nodes within layers, and the activations used within layers. So furthermore, onto the solution. So the number of possible combinations of these parameters is extremely large, since there's the number of layers and the number of nodes in each layer are numeric in value. So thus, we have to place a bound onto these values to comply with the requirement that we need to find it within a reasonable time frame. So if the numeric values are allowed to be really large, then the population needs to grow to allow greater exploration of these values. But if the population grows too large, then the genetic algorithm runtime similarly grows. So to place these bounds, we reduce the batch sizes from 50 to 500, because like extremely large batch sizes would have poorer accuracy and smaller ones would have worse accuracy and run slower. And then the 3 data sets used to run the CNN were MNEST, CFAR10, and IMDb, or the 2 ones used were MNEST and CFAR. And on the MNEST dataset, there was a clear advantage to using the genetic algorithm. So on the other hand, for the CFAR10 dataset, the highest accuracy achieved was much worse than a basic CNN. And so we can conclude that using a genetic algorithm for the purposes of tuning hyperparameters can be quite useful. So not only does it improve the chances that you may discover an architecture that is more efficient, since it can automate the process of tuning these parameters. But that said, GA unfortunately suffers from high computational costs and in some cases isn't a realistic option if the computational resources are lacking. And future work can be done to include reducing this cost and making genetic algorithms more widely applicable to other fields of study. And that concludes my presentation. And I will move on to